what you looking at? American tuner culture has been around for decades. From hot rods to hardcore naturally aspirated muscle, to the ear-piercing drag monsters. However, it seems like the American tuner cars have been eclipsed by the popularity of the JDM and the Germans. But that isn't the case, and us cowboys have been making sleepers with unlimited potential for a while now. Brad Danger here, and today we're gonna look at some of the American tuner beasts that will give you wings. Kind of like a Red Bull, which is the exact same as joining the Ideal Media fam. So just hit that join button to learn a little bit more. Let's go! The Dodge Neon SRT4 is a tuner's dream. Sold for only a couple of years from 2003 to 2005, it was meant to be an affordable, compact, fun car that just about anybody could buy. This cute little sedan had an American turbocharged 2.4 liter inline 4 that you can tune to get nuts horsepower numbers. And with front wheel drive and a manual transmission, you're gonna be doing some sweet burnouts. Which, if you're down to save the manuals, snag one of these limited edition Save the Manuals tees. Up there. And what's just about as sweet as the manual tee is the fact that the power is easy and cheap. I can think about something else that's easy and cheap. And by easy and cheap, I mean easy and cheap. Yeah. With some basic mods like an intake, tune, and a couple extra little engine components, you're pushing 300 horses. And if you want to go hard in the paint, you can get a bigger turbo and a fully built setup, and now you're knocking on 500 horsepower's door. Hello? Yeah, that's just wheel spin answering the door, because you'll probably have a lot of it. While the Neon glowed green, starting at around $20,000 new, it's hard but not completely impossible to find one that hasn't been ridden hard and put away wet. Yeehaw! Check out this blue one here for a reasonable 5K. Yeah, it might need a little bit of help, but that's not bad at all. And although they're decently reliable, the best thing about them is that they're a Dodge. And so if anything does break, you can just go to AutoZone and find parts over the counter. But hey, maybe turbos just aren't your thing. Here in America, we pride ourselves on naturally aspirated V8s. And the Pontiac GT is the prime example of a cold-blooded coupe. With the engine from another American legend, the Corvette, this thing sounds absolutely bonkers. Now, depending on which year you get, you can get the LS1 V8 for the 2004 model, which puts out a strong 350 horsepower. However, I'd recommend the 05 or 06 because you get the LS2 V8, which comes stock with 400 horses, and building these things into straight line missiles is easy peasy. With some engine mods like manifold and exhaust and a tune, you can get around 500 ponies. And if you want to go forced induction, we all know that a blower is just a phone call away. And a supercharger kit, in addition to all the previously mentioned mods, will pony you up to 700 horsepower. The sweet thing is that you can find this value vet for a sweet price. I found this 05 LS2 GTO in gorgeous red for 9K. Getting a Corvette engine powered coupe for 9K definitely sounds like a lot of fun. But hey, maybe a coupe isn't for you and you want something just a wee bit more practical, because the Ford Focus is here, my friend. This hot hatch is the way to go. And if you want a fun and affordable boosted car that you can also do some IKEA shopping in, then focus, young grasshopper. The Ford Focus ST, that's the golden ticket. And guess what? These things are so much fun to tune. You get a 2-liter 4-cylinder that puts out around 250 horsepower. And it's a whole lot of fun when paired to a 6-speed manual because its front wheels will pull you through the corners without sliding around. Now, let's get down to business. You wanna go crazy? Grab a cob tuner, an intake, and an exhaust. And you're looking at 50 extra ponies, you know, putting you around 300. But if you want to go full send, you can get any number you please. I've personally seen a few examples that easily get 450 horsepower. But we all know that the sky is the limit. But what is important is the cost of one of these hot hatches used. I found this 14 white ST for only 9K. And I bet you can probably talk them down even more using the ideal car strategies. For sure, the ST is a pretty crazy tuner, but this next car on this list is a straight up beast. The Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. Otherwise known as the Terminator Cobra, is one of the most loved American cars ever built. And it's also one of the easiest to tune and modify of all time. Stock, this horse snake hybrid hosts a 4.6 liter supercharged V8. And when that supercharger sings, yeah. Now, that's 390 horsepower stock for you. But nowadays, that's not all impressive because a turbo 4-cylinder does that. And we have cars like the Hellcat that make double that. But back in 2003, that was pretty crazy. And it wasn't long before people started modding the hell out of these things. The Terminator gained a mass following behind a car that had ludicrous power. Yeah, to tune this car, it doesn't take much at all. Just throw on a cowboy hat, and with an exhaust, pulleys, intake, and a tune, 500 horsepower is at your fingertips. But if you want to swap a supercharger, woohoo baby! 700 horses ain't out of reach. The hard thing though is the fact that this car is pretty cool now and it's hard to find one cheap. However, I found a good looking convertible Terminator for $17,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I would gladly pay extra to have a car that was nicknamed the Terminator. That's so sick. But maybe that's a little too expensive for you. And you still want a rear-wheel drive V8 American tuner monster. Then the Dodge Challenger RT is a renowned American muscle car modern classic. Under the hood, you got a 5.7 liter HEMI V8 that puts on around 372 horsepower. With that power and the Challenger's larger than life handling characteristics, you're gonna have a challenge not sliding it into a wall. Oh, but if you can control this rear wheel demon, then you have a super lively, attention-grabbing V8 monster. Now, the reason that this car's on this list is because it has insane tuning potential, and because it's from America. And this V8 doesn't disappoint. It's one of the most restricted engines from the factory. But lucky for you, just sprinkle some mods on it, like an intake exhaust, headers, downpipe, and a tune, and you're making a strong 425 horsepower. And if you want to make even more with some forced induction, well, you can make over 500 horse. And when paired with the right suspension and tires, this thing will straight up rip. I found this 2010 RT in white with some 6 stripes for 11K. Any model year after 2008 will have the same body design with just a few minor updates. So go look around and find one that fits what you want. But whichever year you go with, you have a rear-wheel drive beast that you can wrench and tune to your heart's content. But hey, maybe the Ford SVT Lightning is the American tuner truck. Not only does it look super badass, but it is so cool our boy, Brian O'Connor, drove it in, you know, the most legendary movie ever, Fast and Furious. And as we all know, his real name's Paul Walker. And if you want to check out Paul's $1.37 million Skyline, go check out this ideal video. Anyways, the Burnout Queen is an absolute sleeper of a truck. When you look at it first, you might just think that this is a plain old F-150, but the team over at Ford's high-end racing division, SVT, the same homies that brought us the previously mentioned SVT Cobra, yep, they decided to make this regular old truck not only fast and fun to drive, but a tuner's wet dream as well. Now stock, the Lightning came with a 5.4 liter supercharged V8 that is ripping out about 360 horsepower, which is a very healthy number, especially given the fact that the truck was released in 1999. Now, if you choose to spice things up under the hood with normal stuff like an exhaust, pulleys, and an intake, you're making upwards of 400 horsepower. And if you want to do the whole shebang, because Why not? With things like a new supercharger and forged internals, you're looking at 550 horses and a supercar slayer. Now that sounds like a whole lot of donuts and burnouts.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, he flipped.
Plus, it's awesome that these things aren't really that hard to find if you do some digging. I found this sweet red one for just under 12K. But you know what would be cooler than driving Brian O'Connor's truck of choice? It would be driving our ideal car, the DSM Eagle Talon. This thing is a turbo all-wheel drive beast with JDM roots. And the best part is that you can tune this thing to beat supercars. The three diamonds of Mitsubishi and the Pentastar of Chrysler came together to make Diamond Star Motors, or DSM, back in 1985. But in 1990, they made the holy grail of American tuners, the freaking Eagle Talon. It came with either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and a naturally aspirated motor or the turbocharged Mitsubishi 2-liter inline 4. But you guys are here to go fast, and so you want the all-wheel drive turbo because it doesn't take much to get this thing up to super numbers. Stock, a turbo would make around 195 horsepower. However, if you go crazy with this Talon because you should, and you build the engine with bigger turbos and other little bits and bops, you're gonna be knocking on 1,000 horsepower's door. What's sad, but also makes a lot of sense, is that people love dragging these things, which makes it super hard to find one stock. Pretty much impossible, actually. However, I found this 1994 Gen 1 Turbo all-wheel drive Talon for just 2,500 bucks. Not only is this the cheapest American tuner on this list, it also has the most potential, which makes this an ideal deal. So, what American tuner would you get? A Terminator Cobra, a Focus ST, or 1,000 horsepower Eagle Talon? Let us know down in the comments, and make sure that you subscribe here and also hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm so that you don't miss any more ideal content. And thanks for watching, and as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle. Yee!